Hey, if you want to hit 1 million fast, here's a dirty little secret nobody talks about. You don't need more freedom. What you actually need is a cage. That's what I need too. I know it sounds insane, but if you're like most entrepreneurs, you're addicted to optionality, right? You're allergic to structure. Then your obsession with freedom is probably the very thing that's keeping you broke. And let me explain, okay? There's this thing labeled the myth of freedom. And here's what I mean. When most people say, I want to be my own boss, what they really mean is I want to do what I want, when I want, how I want. And that's cool. But that's not really entrepreneurship. You know, that's an adult toddler with a laptop and a Stripe account. Real entrepreneurs don't chase freedom. They manufacture discipline. You got to build something. The freedom comes on the back end, not the front end, right? And the fastest way to build discipline is to add constraints into your life. I want you to think about this. You know, constraints, they're not chains, they're cheat codes. You know, I used to think that constraints were like prison bars, right? But now I know they're more like the guardrails on a mountain road, right? And without them, you fly off the edge. With them, you can take the hairpin turn at full speed. And if you want to win in business and you want to do it quickly, we need to limit your options. We need to actually shorten your deadlines. We need to surround you with people who are not going to let you lie to yourself. You know, as an example, I built a window cleaning business 15 years ago that was doing almost $200,000 a month in a small town. I wasn't smarter than anyone else, but I had constraints that most people avoid like the plague. I joined a local accountability and mastermind group, right? I set public revenue targets that my whole team was aware of every day and week and month and quarter and year, and they scared me. You know, I had a tiny marketing budget, especially in the beginning, so I had to get creative and resourceful. And those constraints, they made me fast. They made me more focused, more dangerous, you know, from a business perspective. And that's when I discovered something wild. You know, discipline, it's not what slows you down. Discipline is what lets you go fast without exploding. And do you want to know who scales fast? You know, I've now coached thousands of small business owners, and do you want to know who scales the fastest? It's not the genius types, not the ones with the fanciest tools, not the chronic overthinkers. It's the ones who create small groups. They do short sprints. They have savage deadlines. They install what I call positive pressure into their life. Because you know what really kills a business? No urgency. No shame for missing goals, like it doesn't matter. There's no one to disappoint but yourself. And what happens is we end up drifting. Maybe you end up dabbling, you delay. We're constantly moving everything to tomorrow. And the years go by and you're still saying, you know, this is the year I'm gonna go all in. It just never happens. Because here's the truth. You see, our willpower is trash. We need to use architecture and structure instead. The most successful people, they don't try harder. They don't, I promise they don't. They're not that smart, okay? They design their lives to make success inevitable. How? Well, they lock themselves in weekly calls that they don't always want to attend, where everyone sees their goals and their numbers, right? They commit to goals publicly, or at least with their team, even if it scares them. They sign up for accountability groups or mastermind or coaching that hurts a little bit if they fail. And this is not weakness. That's really self-respect if you think about it. Because if you're not willing to install constraints on yourself, you're not really building a business. You're just running from responsibility and calling it freedom. You want to go fast? Get a cage, right? Think about it like this. A rocket can't launch without a launch pad. A train can't hit 200 miles an hour without tracks. You know, a championship boxer can't win without a ring, a timer, a coach in the corner, right? So why are you trying to sprint towards $1 million in an open field with no compass, no map, no one's watching? This cage I'm talking about is a gift. It's what holds your potential in place long enough for you to catch on fire. So here's the bottom line. If you want to hit $1 million fast, stop trying to figure it out alone. Start building a system that forces success. Install weekly constraints. Declare your goals publicly. Join a group where excuses are currency and yours are no longer accepted, right? You don't need more ideas. You need structure that squeezes the execution out of you. And this is part 2 of a short 4-part series. In part 1, I showed you why obsessing over personal profitability is the real game changer. Not revenue, not marketing, not hype, right? And then now today, adding constraints, this is move number 2. And tomorrow in part 3, we're gonna talk about what separates those who build really fast versus those who think that they're fast, right? Massive, imperfect action, right? No more tinkering, no more waiting. You'll see exactly how to outpace your own self-doubt and stack momentum like bricks. It's gonna be awesome. So subscribe if you're not subscribed, turn on notifications. If you're already feeling called out by this, good. okay? I love you. You're closer to your breakthrough than you think. We just need these little things to click in your brain, so let's go.